Today we have Janice who's going to talk about how she went from doing photography for a few $100s all the way to being able to quit her 9-to-5 job and most recently hitting her first $12,000 month after joining the Wedding Filmmaker Mastery program. Welcome, Janice. So I want to start at the very beginning. Talk a little bit about where you were before joining the Wedding Filmmaker Mastery program.
I was really getting tired of my 9 to 5 job. I just was fed up with going to work every single day. And then I was like, what if I just quit my 9 to 5 and I do like wedding photography and wedding filmmaking full time? It's kind of crazy that I went from working a 9 to 5 in August, quitting, and then 2 months later, after implementing Alex's like his practices and his like suggestions and stuff like that, I've already made like $20,000 in the last 2 months.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Now, the next thing I wanted to ask you about, because obviously there are a lot of courses and programs out there on the internet, why did you choose to learn from Alex specifically?
So I'm definitely a courseaholic. I've probably invested into like 10 programs or so the last like 2 years. But I think it's just really obvious like how Alex invested into his students in terms of like actually making sure that they succeed. Like he's always checking in with me and he's like, hey, like, did you book that client yet? He's like, how can I help you? And also like the coolest thing is that he's actually referring clients over to his students. Like he actually referred a client over to me that I already booked and I'm like shooting their wedding next weekend actually.
Definitely, definitely. And I want to ask you this, when you first joined the program, what were some of the things that you were able to implement right away to start seeing results?
And he walked me through like, choosing the right images to like post and then like the script to utilize. And I think like I had a crazy amount of responses to the budget bride post that I made. I think at one point I was talking to like 80 people. Just like the 2 or 3 weeks after me doing that very first post after our coaching call, I had made like 8 grand already. And that was like with me never shooting a wedding.
That's great. Yeah. What do you think are those biggest factors that gave you success with the mentorship?
He'll like walk me through like the scripts of like what I should say, like if I should throw in anything, and kind of just help my clients like understand the value, to like really book me sooner rather than later. Something Alex also like really teaches on is like building relationships with vendors. And I really love building relationships with not just like other vendors, like, wedding planners, florists and stuff like that, but just building relationships within the community.
I love that. Now, there are multiple people watching this video that have heard about Alex's program, but are just on the fence for whatever reason. They're hesitant to get started. You were once in that position. What advice would you give to those people that are on the fence about joining the program?
This investment has brought me the greatest like rate of return, I guess you can say. You really only need to book like 1 or 2 clients to basically cover the cost of the course. And since I've joined his course, I've booked like over a dozen clients, and like one of my clients has already paid for the course.
Well, Janice, thank you so much for talking with me today. And thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next video.